Man, did
What?
y'all get a chance to watch the Super Bowl? All of the Super Bowl with the halftime show, the commercials. Was it did it live up to the hype of what it normally does?
Yeah, man, I felt like the commercials was subpar. Like I didn't really see any commercials that jumped out that I really enjoyed that I can think
Yeah,
of off the top of my
the
head.
I like the loosen your tight ends, the tight ends ones.
Oh my God, yeah.
I might not have seen that one. I might not have seen that one. I'm gonna have to go back
What
and
was that a
check it on
commercial for?
YouTube.
What was the
It was it
product?
was uh it was get your colon screen. It was a
Yeah,
colon
that's
screen.
what it was. And they had a whole bunch of tight ends on there. It's like,
I'm about to go check that out on YouTube.
I thought Dunkin' Donuts had one when they brought back like it's a
I
nostalgia
did
thing.
like
They brought back
I did like
Carlton
that one. Yeah,
and like I like
That
that
was
one.
that was all AI generated. I didn't.
Was it?
was
like
it?
even the black
I
folks.
thought. Not sure how I feel about that now.
Did anybody crack the code or try to crack the code for Mr. Beast?
I don't think I seen that one.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought the game was subpar. It was all right.
Yeah.
The halftime show, was the best part of the Super Bowl for me. So
It was the only
I didn't
thing I
understand. I didn't understand a lick of what he was talking about, but I enjoyed it.
I heard what he said, America and Canada at the end.
Yeah, I heard that. I knew that. I'm like, there you go. I know those words. Then Lady Gaga came and it was.
And
Man, that halftime show was like so dope. Like I appreciated that halftime show, especially like in the times that we're in right now. Like it was really nice to see an artist like put on for their people, right? Like on the world's biggest stage. Like that was nice, and it was to learn like all of the little facts about what happened afterwards and who those people were was like really really cool because like there was a there was a scene where like he gets a shot from a lady, and that lady owns a bar in New York, and it's like the last Puerto Rican authentic bar like in this neighborhood, and so like she's like rooted in her neighborhood and in her community, so it's like like I think his message was really just like we are regular day people, we are Americans, and it's so funny how his message was so purposefully misunderstood by so many people, but I thought it was the best part of the day.
Yeah, like I said, easily one of the best halftime shows I've seen in my lifetime of watching halftime shows. Like I think, like the actual theatricals was top one. Like I don't think there's ever been a Super Bowl halftime show that like had the theatrics that he had that I enjoyed more. It's just like it just kept you involved, like falling through ceilings and like all these different like it was like a little skit, like a play.
got you. Okay.
Yeah, I just thought the vibe was good. Yeah, it was a good vibe, and I didn't really care for it all. Like a lot of the comments the afterwards, I know people were saying they were mad because they couldn't understand them, and it was like I was like, man, everything ain't for us. Everything ain't for us. This is for the Latin community. This is their moment to shine, and like let them have their moment. I was so confused by people were so angry about. Well,
I'm
there was
reading.
no English. I was like, who cares?
I'm
Like
reading
it was
that.
just a good
There was
vibe, the performance. Like look at the performance, enjoy like everything. Like you don't just pay attention to the words.
Yeah, I read an article that there's some congressmen trying to sue Bad Bunny because of the performance. Like some of the dancers were doing, overly sexual dances.
Yeah.
They're trying to sue.
Oh
him.
my
Like,
God. Yeah, they need to quit with that.
Like the cheerleaders be doing the same thing.
Exactly. So they gonna sue Usher for he had a whole strip club.
I remember even the J Lo performance. People were
J-Lo,
mad about
Shakira,
that.
yep.
J Lo and Shakira.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even. It was good to go back and look at some of the subliminal stuff too. Like I didn't realize when he was up on the poles, the towers, the electric poles,
Yeah, the electric
and they were
poles.
caving in and stuff. That it was supposed to represent, I guess, the hurricanes that's been coming through Puerto Rico and all that. It's still some people without power, and they got certain political things that's going on with their power. So like they got to pay gas and electric, whether or not their gas and electric is actually turned on or not, because it's owned by a third party and some kind of law down there or something like that. It's crazy. So that was supposed to bring light to that. I was like, oh, that's dope. Okay,
Yeah.
didn't know that, but okay, yeah.
And they say, the electricity down there kind of shiesty out in general. They said so at any moment they just lose power just for no reason because it's so shoddy.
And I've failed to mention that the grass was people, or I'm sorry, it was sugar cane. So that whole field, they didn't even have a part in it. They were just props. But I heard he paid them each a certain amount or whatever just to do that. Just regular, average, everyday people. So.
Although I heard that people were supposed to be like a security. It's supposed to be like a security thing to where like if something was to pop off, like I don't know how true this is. Like the people, I guess the people that were at the sugar cane, like were supposed to like know first, and they were supposed to do something. I forgot the whole gist of it, but I'm like, man, I don't know how true that is. It's like, but I think they said they're supposed to surround him. So if something pop off, they're supposed to surround him and protect him.
He can hide in the bushes.
I'm like,
like Homer Simpson, just play it back.
But I think he was wearing a bulletproof vest, which
I heard that.
Which makes sense why he was so big, because it looked weird, like because his body was bigger than it seemed like it should have been. So when they said he was wearing a bulletproof vest, I was like, oh, that makes sense to why he looked like that.
That's crazy.
Somebody said that's why he didn't invite as many people to the Grammys or whatever when he went. Yeah. Like that's why he was by himself.
I think Greg said that.
Yeah, I said that.
You said that? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he was wearing a bulletproof vest underneath it because he thought he would get shot?
Well, he had threats, yeah.
I didn't know he was getting threats.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would have assumed. It's not surprising. I just didn't know.
They actually had another Super Bowl halftime show, which I heard didn't nobody watch. So, not even the president who it was designed for. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, yeah, with Kid Rock.
Kid Rock said Jay-Z doing a DEI. Jay-Z was a DEI hire.
How Kid Rock, crackhead ass Kid Rock, gonna say Jay-Z is a DEI hire is like insane to me. Kid Rock.
Kid Rock actually put out this thing where Jay-Z, he's only a billionaire because he signed something to deal with that film. I was like, oh God, they way off. And Kid Rock is no longer a kid. Yeah. So, after a while, you need to lose kid.
Grandpa Rock.
Well, I was going to say, this is going to start the show. Welcome to the Brothers and Friends podcast show.
Oh, yeah.
What up, Gary?
What's going on, everybody? Yeah.
Happy day. What up, Freddie T?
Yo, what's up, Freddie T? The place to be. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Now you on the clock to release this on Wednesday?
No, I got this on Wednesday.
Ain't that what you usually do it? I thought you had to release it on Wednesday.
Yeah,
ain't gonna make sense.
What up, Chris?
Yo, what it do, crew? Happy to see everyone and happy to be seen.
And last but not least, what up, Greg?
What's up, my brothers? Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
To the Thunderdome, okay.
And I want to hear some dum 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 dum. But
Put that
anyway,
sound effect in there.
Yeah, no. Anyway, Gary, we got a topic that you was passionate to talk about.
Yes, I had I had to dig deep for this episode and dig deep in my compassion for the subject, right? I've had 20 years of experience for this particular subject. That's why I'm so passionate about y'all's responses as well to this topic. So, the ever popular discussion surrounding marriage and relationships slash dating. Okay. Now I know here at the Brothers and Friends podcast we have five married individuals that are they range from anywhere from double digits all the way to single digits as far as our experience with being married. Some of us dating younger, as well as others. So, what I want to start off with is this because I was able to just kind of interview some of my single friends, family, and surrounding, and get kind of some of their responses to some things. I just want to run them past you all, see what you think, ask y'all a couple questions, and just from a married person's perspective, what is going on in the dating pool of 2026? Like, what is a relationship nowadays? Because I'm hearing some things like there's pee in the pool, in the dating pool, that it sucks, like a lot of negative things. That it's like, okay, well, are there some variables along with this? Do single people now, like, is it their standards, this, that, and the other, or is it? I don't know. So we'll go ahead and explore some of those comments, but I'm gonna ask y'all. One question that came up was, why did you get married? So specifically men, since we got men on the line right now, and we may even do a part two on this to kind of get some other perspectives or whatever. This ought to be fun. Why do men get married? And let's just go around the room. I don't care who starts first, but why do you think that men? You could say why you got married, and then you could say why do you think men in general get married?
I'm gonna say I believe I got married. It was for companionship. Wanting to start a family, and I think a big piece was just finding my person, somebody to grow old with. It was not really one of those people that like to just be out there just playing the field. Want somebody to come home to every day. Build a bond with, like I said, and have my forever. Like you always, that vision where y'all sitting on the porch in the swing with y'all gray hair, and the kids are out the house, and you're just thinking about the past. I think I wanted that, so that's the reason I got married. To tell you the reason why men in general get married, like I think that's a question that really can't be answered because there's so many different reasons why people want to get married. I don't even know where to start.
Okay, all right, that's an honest answer. Anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with Fred. Like, there's dozens of reasons why men get married. Whether it's like financial, emotional, it could be an arranged marriage situation, legal situation, but there's dozens, maybe hundreds of reasons to get married. But I wouldn't say there's just one reason to get married. I feel like if it's just one reason, I feel like you shouldn't get married. If you're just attracted to that person, or if you just want sex, if it's just one, or maybe even if it's just one or two reasons, that's still not enough reasons. But for me, the reason why I got married, it was more of like like Fred said, just a picturing of your future self. Like, I felt like my younger self was out there playing the field too much, wilding out. And I got to a point where, like, it's time to settle down, time to, get more mature. And I felt like I reached that point where I wanted to be, to take care of someone, but I also needed someone to help take care of myself. So it was almost like a balance situation, I always hear people like, people only want to get married once they find themselves or once they become, a better version of themselves. But I felt like with me, it was more like I needed to find my equal, like Fred said, your partner, your balance, someone that kind of fills you out.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do this real quick before the next person goes. Fred, how long have you been married?
Oh, I've been married. It'll be in May. 17 years.
Nice, nice. Chris, how long have you been married?
It'll be 20 years next year, 2027. Yeah.
What
So
about this
19. Yeah, it'll be 19 in July.
19 in July? Okay, nice. So we got 15, 19.
17.
I'm sorry, 17, 19. All right, go to the next person. Also include in how many years you've been married.
How long you been married? Get out of my business.
You want me to go? I can go ahead. 20 years, going on 20 now. 24, one, I mean.
All right. Well, I would say for me, the reason why I got married was I'm a visionary, so I like to, look into the future. And like when I met, my wife, I envisioned, like I would thought like, okay, can she be somebody who I can, live the rest of my life with? She's somebody who, I want to spend the rest of my life with, and you got like this whole checklist of things, and you checking them off. Like, oh yeah, she fits that, she fits that, she fits that. So it's like in my head, it was one of those things where it's like, is she fitting all these check marks that I look for in a wife, And the reason why I wanted to get married was because I wanted that stability. I wanted stability. I wanted to be able to, like Fred said, just come home to have somebody to come home to, and someone to raise kids with, that dynamic family. I wanted that. So that was my reason for getting married. As far as why men get married, if I had to narrow it down, since nobody gave an answer to that as of yet, I'm going to say stability as well. I feel like the biggest reason men get married is probably because of stability. They want to that settle down type thing. It's either it's that it's because you think about if men who get married because they knocked up a woman, it's still kind of like stability almost, where you wanted to settle down. You probably weren't ready to marry that woman, but if you knocked her up, then at that point, I feel like that's why I feel like stability is always the reason why. That's my number one reason why men get married. And I know there's multiple reasons why, but my number one reason would probably be stability. As far as your answer, Gary, how long I've been married, it would be 12 years in September.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, okay, so I've been married. It'll be 10 years in 2031, and the reason I got married was because I found somebody.
I just got that.
I was
It took me a
like,
minute, but I got
what?
it.
Hey, look, my answer is timeless, man. In case
Yeah, I gotta
you
do-
listen to this episode.
Gotta do some maths. Gotta do some
Yeah,
maths to figure out.
yeah. Otherwise, mind your business. You don't want to do the math. Don't worry about it.
All right.
The reason I got married was because I found a partner that I worked well with, that I loved, and that we had the same vision for what our life could be, and yeah, I think for security, and I mean, life is hard to do by yourself. It's hard. And as the person in the group who spent the longest time single, I could tell you that it gets harder the older you get to find someone of quality. And so when you find someone and you are hitting on all cylinders, they're good quality, and you don't mind them in your space, you lock them down, you marry them. Now, the reason why men get married. I may have a different perspective on this just because of my sexuality, but I will put this in categories of why do straight men get married. I think straight men get married, generally speaking. I will say straight men get married to find a partner that will do the role that their moms used to do, the woman work that they don't necessarily want to do for themselves, while also having a companion. Like, because I feel like there are a lot of men who don't even bother to like learn some of those skills, like about like having to take care of a home in like a real way, because they're waiting for that person to come in and just fill that job role. So now gay men get married for, I think for probably a lot of the same reasons. Maybe not to fill the role that it would be either gender. It wouldn't be necessarily to fill gender roles, but just to maybe fall in line with hetero norms. You know, society tells you that like marriage is kind of part of the life plan, right? Like you graduate, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you have a kid, the kid takes care of you, you die. That's like the plan. So I think a lot of people just fall into the life plan of getting married.
So that's a great segue, Greg, because it's the reason why I asked not only why did you get married, but why do you think men in general get married? Because that was going to be one of the options I was going to throw out too. Is okay, was it a thing for you like that you had to get married? You know,
Gary,
was it a societal normal?
Gary, you gonna give your response?
Yeah. Okay, I can do that. So, okay, 20 years for me. Why did I get married? If I could roll it into one, it would be because I think I found a good quality person. That I guess that would fall under Josh's statement of checked all of the boxes. And even that is a statement I'm coming to like broaden my perspective on what does it mean to check all of the boxes, and the way we say it, and the way singles hear the way we say that. So, and that's gonna come up in one of my later questions too, about that. But I felt like, yeah, she checked enough boxes for me that I said, yeah, I'm not letting this one go. Now, why do I think men in general get married? I'm with everybody for a number of reasons. I don't think men are monoliths, um, um, and but at the same time, I do like there were some things I seen on social media where there's like the battle of the sexes, and it's like men marry the person, whereas it seems like women marry the situation, and the situation can evolve. Whereas men say, okay, I found this girl, I like who she is, don't change, I love her. Whereas women are like, hey, I married this guy, he has so much potential, look what we could be, you know, if we keep doing this or whatever. So then they kind of meet once they get to a certain point and get into marriage, then they kind of meet each other in different places, and they trying to find that common ground type thing. So for me, men in general, they marry for the person that they're looking for. That's kind of the best way I could put it. But kind of segueing into Greg's comments. Okay, was marriage a thing to you? Like you had to get married? Was it end all to be all? Was it the prize? Did you consider yourself the prize? Your girlfriend or wife now the prize, or spouse the prize? Or did y'all have any of these type of comments back then when y'all got married?
I think for me, it was always a plan because a lot of my family members, from my grandma to my dad, my uncle, were married for to their person for years and years and decades. So growing up, being surrounded by marriage, it was just like natural for me. Like that's the evolution of being an adult. Was like so they modeled those were my role models. You know, my dad, my uncle, my cousins, and so forth. So looking up to them, it was just like I gotta follow those footsteps. So I guess I would fall under that, societal norm type of situation. Yeah.
So would it be that okay, you were going to get married because that's the end goal? It's just whose name was going to fill that slot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, got you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I say for me, it was I was around, like my mom was married. I had my aunt was married. One of my aunts were married, and then the only other married like adults that I hung around as kids was probably your parents, Gary, for the most part. And then, like I said, the rest of my aunts, uncles, they were kind of single. So I had, I guess, an example of both. And realizing as you get older, kind of, I can't remember who said it, but realizing as you get older, like it does. Oh, Greg saying doing life it gets harder as you get older when you're single. Like I didn't want to live how the single adults in my life were living. So I think that kind of helped push me to like, well, I think like marriage is the only, right way to go. Like I don't want to be out here just, loose leaf, like a loose leaf piece of paper for the rest of my life. Like I needed somebody to be connected to.
Just out here like a penny with a hole in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So either you was gonna get married or you was gonna be a hoe. There's no in between. No, I'm just
Yeah. But
Okay.
but the whole part just didn't feel like that would be something that would be sustainable and enjoyable at the same time.
Okay. All right. I'm setting up some questions here. Any other response before I'll go to the next question?
Yeah, I will say it was always, for me, it's always in the waters or in the plans for me that I was going to get married. I never thought, I wasn't going to get me married. So I always, every relationship that I was in before I got married was, I'm looking to see if she could be my wife. Like every relationship. So it was more so like I always wanted, to be married. I never dated anybody. Every person dated. I ain't talking about like a fling or a hookup. I'm talking about you were my girlfriend. Like every woman that I dated is like, all right, are you gonna be my wife? Can I see myself with you? So I always dated with the intention of being married.
Okay, because that was one of the responses I got from some single people that I did. Just a handful that I got responses was dating somebody who was seriously looking for a relationship, versus just dating. Because they say a lot of that is going on now, whereas you can't tell if somebody's genuinely looking for a relationship or they just trying to get something out of the relationship, whether there's sex, stability, whatever. So to hear that, and to hear from a man that you are literally dating seriously, like you're trying to find a companionship, because I'm also hearing from some of the single pool that that more women are dating for it serious and men are playing around. So okay, that's interesting to hear. Anybody else, real quick, before I?
For me, it has not always been the goal, because it hasn't always been legal for me to get married. So, yeah, it's I my story is a little bit interesting just in the timing of how everything worked out. But I think when I was dating with intention for the most part. But I was in my 30s. And so, okay, so I guess I got to tell the whole story. So I came out at 30 and was married by 39. So within that time frame, I really had to do a lot of living. a lot. Yeah, a lot of living, and
Out there living. You was out there
I had
living.
fun. I had big fun, big fun in Baltimore. I will tell you that. But yeah, it. I'm glad it all happened the way that it did because I went through my 20s in the closet, so that was just like a wash, just a complete waste. I was in my 30s trying to reclaim my 20s while still trying to like not completely degrade myself and be just be complete slut bucket out here. And thankfully I found somebody to save me from myself, and and so here we are now. But I will tell you that like no, it hasn't always been the plan for me. But I mean, and two, like I grew up in a house where my mom got divorced, but my mom and my dad were never married. So I think my family really only has like, well, the only relationship, my grandmother and grandfather were the only married people that lasted in my family. Like my cousin, he's married, and my uncle has had a couple marriages, and my sister's still married. But like growing up, like we're not known for our long marriages.
So then the next question would be, okay, do we as married people promote marriage in a positive light or a negative light or kind of neutral in between? What say ye? Let's go around the table.
What I guess my question would be, what does promoting married life look like? Because I don't really put my business on the internet, and I feel like that's the only place I would be promoting. So no, I guess.
Absolutely. So what I mean by that, and that's a great question. So there's a lot of different marriage books out there, right? We see things on TV, social media, all of that kind of stuff. Even in our own friend groups, how we talk about marriage and this, that, and the other. Okay, and we'll go like over time to how we as married people actually just speak about marriage, just in a general fashion. Whereas a girl may tell her girlfriends like, hey, I got the ring, and they, oh, congratulations, this, that, and the other, whatever. Whereas a guy may tell his fellas or whatever, I'm getting married, and they like, oh man, like, okay, you like half is like congratulations, this, that, and the other, whatever, and someone's like, oh man, you off the market now, like, okay, get ready, like you getting ready for some kind of, like
catastrophic disaster.
Yeah. So kind of like that. Like even Kev on stage has a book out, and he's talking about marriage, but it's titled "Marriage Be Hard." So how does that sound to a person that's not married? It's like, oh shoot, this is that. You know what I mean? We have different references, like the old ball and chain. That's to represent marriage. Here's my better half. When we talk about marriage, are we more or less, as married people, do we talk enough about the good parts? Do we talk about just the problems? When you hear stuff in media, social media, whatever, friend groups, at the water cooler, coworkers, whatever, do you hear positive things about marriage? Is there an equal both, or do you kind of hear, well, this one's cheating on this one's cheating on that one, this one's got divorced, yeah, this, that, and the other? Or what is your perspective? We as married people as a whole, do we promote marriage to be a positive thing, negative thing? Get a prenup, get a this, get a, if you got money, protect it. If you all of that.
Yeah, I think in my case, I feel like the times that I promote marriage might be kind of like Greg said, like if I'm posting stuff on Facebook about what we're doing as a couple, or a family unit in general, and then the only other time may be like at church if we're like doing a marriage group or something. Is where like we're promoting marriage, but other than that, like I don't really see like the time where I'm just I guess generally promoting it just to random people. Besides, like I said, the people that you hang around often. But I think in general, I don't think it's promoted in. I don't think it's promoted in a good light most of the time, but I don't necessarily think it's always promoted in bad light either.
And you know what? I could substitute a word instead of promoted, just talked about.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like as as the time progresses and like the new generation is coming up, I don't think it's talked about enough because I feel like just kind of watching younger people and how they move, it don't seem like a lot of younger people really care to get married. It's just, some people you'll look at them and they're like, we've been together for 5 years. Ain't no point for us to get married because we're gonna do the same thing we doing now. So yeah, so I don't think it's talked about enough to promote the newer generations coming on board to like want to get married like we all spoke about the first half of this podcast.
I'll say when I talk about marriage, it's pretty positive. I think when I hear marriage being talked about, it's usually in a positive light. But I don't know. Like I think the response is really dependent. For me, I think it depends on age group. I feel like 20-year-olds or would say like, "Oh man, you're don't get married. It's too soon. No, bro, don't do it." And I think once you get past that age of like trying to play the field or whatever, like I think you're happy for your friend if he tells you that they found someone that they want to spend their life with, right?
Right.
But I think marriage is a tricky tricky construct in and of itself. I mean, it's kind of rooted in the church, so you have to have some like sort of faith based thing around it. Not necessarily you can obviously go and get married at a non-church, but I think the reason why marriage may be falling off or maybe not as the thing to do for this generation, I think is just because it's not necessarily. Well, I don't know if people. I think the church attendance is down, just in general. So then you don't have that influence of like, don't have premarital sex, don't do this, don't do that, which I think forces a lot of people into marriages just so they can like get that monkey off their back. But I also think that like we're in a age where like marriage isn't necessarily needed anymore, where you have less families that are doing the single family household and you have two people working. And so if two people can do it on their own, they don't need to necessarily get married, so they can just be together and not get married. And they don't want the financial ties to that person either, because I mean, getting married, like you're financially bound to this person, and all of their debts become your debts, and all of their liabilities are now yours. And so like, I think there was a time when like marriage was a necessity just to survive. Where I think now it's not that anymore.
Do you think we speak of that, like what you just said, like the incomes coming together and the financial woes, is that a louder said thing to people versus like?
I mean, I think it's louder because I think it's the common cause for most marriage or most divorces is financials is financial stuff. So like, I think people are being honest when they say like marriage is hard, because marriage is hard. Like I would love to meet anybody who's been married for 5 years and can tell me like their marriage has been super easy, no issues, it's been nothing but just smooth sailing. Like I would challenge that person if they've had a real marriage.
Nice.
I'm gonna say, going to your question about the promoting of marriage. I feel like promotion is gonna be bad or good. But I do feel like people who use like that promotion of like marriage is hard or the divorce rate is too high or whatever. I think people who use that that might be an excuse to not get married. So I feel like if you're gonna get married, no matter what people say, you're still gonna get married. I mean, like marriage is hard. Like so is college. I still went to college. People told me college was hard before I went, but I knew I still wanted to go to college. If I knew something is hard, that's not going to deter me from not wanting to do it. So if somebody really wants to get married, a bad promotion or bad being talked about badly ain't going to, I think, route somebody to getting married. Now, somebody who's on the fence or somebody who don't want to get married really will probably use that as an excuse to say, yeah, I don't want to get married because marriage is hard or because divorce rate is high. Why would I put myself through that? And I do actually agree with Greg as far as why people don't get married as it's not married as popular as it is now because marriage is kind of rooted in church. You hear a lot about it more in church than you hear about it at home, especially if you're in a single household. You hear more about marriages more so in churches. So if you're not going to church as much, you don't have that enthusiastic to get married. So I do feel like that could be a root cause of why people aren't getting married nowadays.
Yeah, and going back to
Yeah,
what Greg said, even with the age, I think now people, I feel like when people get married nowadays, they're older, like late 30s and 40s, compared to like we were like I think everyone was in their 20s here when they got married, but
No.
except for Greg, yeah,
Not Greg.
but,
Not Greg.
The only one that did it right. I had fun.
but yeah, I agree with what everyone said. I think it matters who you're surrounding yourself. I guess how you're promoting or talking about marriage. I mean, I surround myself with you guys, and I'm trying to think of anyone I know that's either like divorced that would like down marriage, and I don't even think it's about when people say marriage is hard. I feel like that's not even downing marriage. Like if I were to talk to a single person right now, I would tell them marriage is hard and give them warnings and advice because it's needed. I feel like the younger generation now, I feel like they don't treat marriage as that, like Greg said, like the sanctity of marriage, where they kind of treat marriage as like it's just a long-term relationship and I can get out of it.
We'll
You
see
know
if it
what I'm saying?
works.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so easy to get a divorce now. It's because like they see, Hollywood role models, they get divorced every 5 years or something like that and just switch up relationships so easily. So, talking negatively or saying marriage is hard, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's, necessary.
I think the moral fabric nowadays is a lot more loose than it was back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 90s, 2000s, that kind of thing. So, with that said, too, yeah, marriage's value is changed. So, what I'm going to do now, now that I've asked some of the married questions to the married people, is kind of gauge your perspective on what some people are saying. And like I said, we're going to do a part 2 where we get some actual single people on here and to kind of give their perspectives on things. But just some of the comments, I've kind of interviewed a handful of people and just got a handful of remarks of how it's going out there right now, and just see from a married person's perspective, like what's y'all take on some of these comments, right? For one, I thought one of the brilliant thing was I heard someone say, okay, the dating pool nowadays is kind of like the housing market. Whereas if you bought early, you got a good quality and you got in for a good price. But now it's like, okay, so you want me to pay what? And this is what I get, or you want this for that, like. So I'm gonna toss out. I know I threw a word salad out to y'all, and just say even some things that y'all might have heard, living in today's age or whatever, surrounding dating, relationships, commitment, those type of things. What say ye? What's y'all perspective on some of these comments that we either said or not said, or that y'all might have seen on the internet?
Before I say anything, I was just thinking of the housing market one you gave, and first thing I pictured was like, it's an Avondale nigga on a Westchester budget.
Yep. I heard that statement too before. Somebody said you got champagne taste on beer money. Yeah.
But I don't have too many single people I hang around to hear too many quotes. or too many issues that are going on out there. I know like one person I do know, they just, I mean, they kind of older and they're single, and they kind of just like they go back to old friends, like somebody they dated, when they were younger, and that's just kind of their buddy that they just kind of like whenever I need, my sexual pleasures, I'll just call up, old boy,
My buddy,
from,
my buddy.
Hey.
and but like I said, I don't even like just to think to be single now. I wouldn't even know what to do to even try to figure out how to date.
I'd have to exactly. I had to get on a dating show or something. Pop the balloon. Get me on Pop the Balloon or something.
Right.
So even with that said, like the new landscape of dating has changed. So just like with the Pop the Balloon
shows.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Love is
but
blind.
are they actually dating shows, or is it more like okay, we just go we throwing darts at the wall? You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna pop your balloon because I don't like your shirt. It's like okay.
Yeah, like I watch Love is Blind. So I guess that's I do like that show for like what they are trying to do with relationships, to where like you're not seeing anyone, you're just kind of talking about everything before you actually commit to that person. And then you have the other show where what's that, Love at First Sight, where they just kind of get matchmakers to match them, and then they kind of go from there.
Married at First
But I feel
Sight.
like I feel like once you get into all those other dating shows, it just kind of gimmicks to like for people to kind of become overnight celebrities.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of your statement about dating is like the housing market. I've heard that like, it's hard out there being single, because like you said, like, you kind of almost have to. You're looking for you got your checklist. If they're hitting maybe one or two, but then like they're not hitting the majority of your needs or wants, then you got to go back in the dating pool. But then like that next person doesn't hit any check marks, and it's just rough out there. So yeah, I like Fred said, I wouldn't know what to do either if I was out there single, especially in this dating landscape with digital and apps and everything and speed dating. Yeah, I don't know.
That reminded me of another one that had popped up, which was there were too many choices.
Too many choices.
Yeah, too many options, I think is what they said.
Then the dating pool, that mean the dating pool is good then. If you got too many good options, that's
That
good.
must have came from a guy. That sounded like it came from a guy.
Let me correct that. Not good options. Options.
Yeah, so like you talking about swiping. There's a lot of people out there, options you could swipe through, I guess.
I'm gonna say this. I don't hang around with like a lot of single people, but like it seems like every time it's being asked a single person how they in life, oh, it sucks. Like, oh, it sucks. Like it's like it's never been a good time to be single. So it was like, the housing market thing. Where I'm like, well, if it was suck bad before, it probably sucks now. So it's like just every time you hear somebody talking about the single,
know,
it's like it's always like somebody pissed in the pond or like the pee in the pool or whatever. Like that whole saying or whatever. So I'm like, it's like that's always been the sense of dating. So I'm like, maybe it's you.
Oh, maybe it's you.
Sometimes I do think that like people have really high standards,
And so,
I talk to my my cousins who is single. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question on that. Like when Greg said earlier, like once you start getting up in age, would you lower your standards? Do you like? I think Gary said that too. Like, at what point do you have to lower your standards?
I feel like at some point, yeah. But I know at some point, like, so if I was single, like, and I knew that, like, back in the day when I was like in my early 20s, like, I wouldn't date nobody with kids. I'm like, I did, I did, which is weird. But like, it's one of those things where it's like I'm not sure if I would make it really serious with somebody who got kids.
Like,
but now older, it'd be like, yeah, I probably gonna that's gonna have something you have to deal with.
And see, I would argue though that's what makes the dating pool so bad is that you have people who are in their 30s who are not holding firm with their standards. And then they're entering into these relationships knowing they didn't want to be in a relationship with a kid, but they're settling for someone with a kid. And now like we know this relationship isn't going to last. I can firmly speak for dating in 30s. I don't know what it's like dating as a 20-year-old, but in your 30s, there is the pool becomes more shallow. Like it is harder to find quality people who fit within your parameters. If you're looking for somebody who's never had a kid before, it's gonna be hard. If you're looking for somebody who's never been married before,
Right.
like if you're looking for somebody who has like a good job, who makes good money and is single and is ready to marry, that's enough. That it's going to be hard just because
Let me
of
jump
all
in
of
here.
the.
Let me jump in here.
Go ahead.
But I feel like I maybe lowering your standards is the wrong terminology. I feel like it's more like prioritizing your standards because
Yeah.
like no one's ever going to hit all your check marks, right? No one's ever going to hit all your check boxes. But if, you know, having a kid that your person has a kid, is that like if that priority red flag number one? But if they hit everything else and they have a kid, you're still gonna just like X them out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
real quick, that kind of relates to the earlier question of how we promote marriage a little bit too. Because me here on this podcast, me and Josh said we found spouses that checked all the boxes. So were we over speaking, under speaking? Did we misspeak?
I thought
Or
you guys
could
said
you-
most of the boxes. I thought y'all said most of the boxes.
Well, we literally said. Well, she checked all the boxes.
Most of the boxes.
Because that's what comes out naturally. But when I think we actually mean what you said is they check most of the boxes. You know what I mean? Because like you said, nobody's ever going to check all of your boxes. But you hear all of these people that have found their person.
You got
See,
all the
this is
important
my
boxes.
one. God sent
When
me
you
this
say
person.
when I say check my boxes, I was mainly talking about the boxes that I prioritize to be important. Like there's 100 things I would want, but like these are the things that I need, not
Check
more so
all the important
want.
boxes.
So she checked the boxes that I needed, not the boxes that I wanted. So if you check the boxes that I need, then that's a green flag to keep this going. But if you're just checking the boxes that I want, but not checking the boxes that I need, then that's a box. That's something I'm gonna scrap.
But now,
But it's
girl,
not something that I
I
need.
need
it's
you,
what
but I don't want you.
So what I will do is like this. I want to go back around, give y'all final thoughts. What is y'all message out there to existing people that's married? Because we got a lot of people that's double digits and future double digits on this podcast. What's y'all message out there for people that's still in the dating pool? Giving them an encouraging message from Brothers and Friends podcast, and then hopefully we'll do a part two where we have some singles to come on and give their perspective as well, because I think this is an ongoing topic, that can be shared between both sides.
For the singles, I guess my advice would be, yeah, I acknowledge that it's hard out there, but like, Josh had said, you have to be self-aware, know yourself, know your priorities. If it's a true hard line red flag, hold on to those standards. But if it's something that has some leeway, maybe that can be downgraded to a want versus a need. For those potentials out there that are looking at marriage as a possibility, I say go ahead. There's so many financial benefits of marriage, tax bracket, tax benefits that you could take advantage of. But obviously, there's no one reason you should get married. There should be multiple reasons. And even before you even decide of marriage, you should definitely talk to some counselors, some mentors, go through premarital counseling to make sure that person, that partner is the one.
Yeah, I think my final thought is to those that are looking to get married, you got to know yourself. Like, only you know yourself. Like I've been married, like I said, for 17 years, and like it's probably the best thing I've ever done. Like I enjoy it. And for those that are single and are in the dating pool, um, you know, don't give in to what your requirements are. Keep on turning over floaties until you get the right man or right woman. Can't stop. Turn over floaties like them ducks. They got the numbers on them. If that ain't your color, it ain't your color. If that ain't your number on the bottom of that duck, put it back in the pool. Get the next duck.
Back in the pool.
Duck, duck, goose. You got to find the goose.
Let's see. My advice would be, dating is hard, but being married to the wrong person is harder. And so I recommend that everyone take the time to learn themselves and love themselves. Because if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
That's from
That's
the
right. It's from RuPaul's Drag Race. But it's real. Because I mean the thing is like marriage is hard, and you don't get a prize for getting married, and although it seems like that's the thing to do because life tells you that's the thing that you have to do, I would strongly urge people to reevaluate and make sure that it is something that they want to do, because it's something serious to be entered into. This isn't for play. It's not something that you enter into to try out and see if it's gonna work. Like you're tying yourself to someone else, and so like I hope everyone takes it as seriously as like I think the rest of us do. And like I don't think any of us entered into marriage lightheartedly. None of us gave up on any of our lists. We got everything that we wanted, and so like I recommend everybody else to get what they want to.
Go ahead, Gary.
Okay. So for me, 20 years, I would say it like this. Advice would be a combination of what everybody has said, especially what Greg said. To thine own self be true, because what marriage meant for me was literally finding an accountability partner for life, who would literally hold up the mirror to myself every day. So even in some times where I could have swore it wasn't me, it was about 8 or 9 times out of 10 it was me and how I was reacting to said situations based off of situations in the past. Because what'll happen is you'll have situations, and if you're lucky enough to go to a therapist or anything like that, that's what's going to get rooted out is, you saw this differently. You saw this in a way, that was different from maybe what it is. There's different perspectives of how things work. So don't just go after a relationship in which things feel good and things are good, or that the boxes that people just checks. Go, I would say, if you're looking for marriage, that is, as a final point, look after someone that if you go through some bad things, that they're a good person to go through the force with. That would be my thing, because I was always being married 20 years. You get asked this a lot. What's the secret? And me and her both would say, we just didn't give up. But there's a lot to say within that too, is that when the hard times were there and the boxes weren't checked, because I got married young, around 20, in my 20s basically. And who my wife is now is not who she was in 20 or 30 or 40. So we had a lot of changes to grow. So I had to learn how to love the 20s version of us, the 30s version of us, and now the 40s version of us, and see how that evolves. And what the things she may not like now is she like now. The things she may not have done then, she's doing now. And I have to learn that, as well as finding out who I am to be able to nurture that. And like they said, that's what I'm coming to find out now. The dating thing does not end once you get married. That's a thing too. But it's not dating on the level that you were when you first met that person. It's more or less dating the new person, getting to know who your spouse is today. And being okay, being a good friend, being okay, just like you with your friends, your brothers and friends for that matter. I found out I was giving y'all grace that I wouldn't give in my spouse. Whoa. Yeah, that mic drop. So it's like you will found out a lot about yourself with a person that you can go through life with. So with that said, it's expensive to find one more thing. But it's cheaper to keep her.
And one more thing to add to that, if you are planning on getting married, look into premarital counseling. Like,
yes.
It opens up a lot that you may not have thought about before. It's almost like getting those final little boxes checked or unchecked, because you kind of get to learn, ins and outs of things that you might not have asked during the dating process. So premarital counseling is a definite plus.
And if you're dating, get pre-dating counseling as well. We call it therapy, to know yourself so you can prepare yourself for someone else and be prepared to get what you want and know what you want. Therapy. It's important.
Therapy, counseling.
Talk
Hey,
to somebody.
Better help. Get some sponsors in here. Better help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we wrap this up, I'm gonna give my 2 cents. So y'all had some nice points. I would say dating is hard. Marriage is hard. It's hard. When you're dating, you're trying to find somebody who you want to be spending the rest of your life with. That's not an easy decision to make. So you got to take the time out. You ain't gonna learn everything you want to know in that first year, in that first year, in that first date. So give yourself time and let this person get to know you. You get to know that other person. Because again, and then that person ain't gonna be that. Like Gary said, that person ain't gonna be the same person in 10 years. That person ain't gonna be the same person in 20 years. You're gonna continue figuring out and loving a new person every time. You just gotta figure out, who this person is and how you want to be loved. And same as you, you're not gonna be the same person as again in 10 years, 20 years. You gotta figure out, what do I want? What do I want my partner to do for me? So you just got to learn that. Learn who you are. Learn who your partner is. Learn what you want. I do, again, agree that you got to have your check boxes, your requirements, what you really want. Again, if the dating pool is stinky, it's probably because you shit in it. We out of here, y'all. Peace!
No shit in the pool.
Mic drop, Josh.
No.
Look, we need to do a podcast to think about what are you going to do? What would you do if you are in your 60s, bro? And your wife comes to you and is like, I want a divorce.
Like, I want to ask that too. Is it podcast wasn't so long? I was going to ask.
I was talking to Preston about that today, and I was like, "You're not leaving." I'm sorry. I'm not dying alone at this point.
At that point, you get a separate bedroom.
Kidnap.
We ain't gonna figure this out.
We gonna figure it out. No. I mean, you might be miserable, but it's gonna be worse if you leave.
You had plenty of time to tell me.
Damn, Gray, you got that type of confidence? You might be miserable now, but if you leave, it's gonna be worse. Exactly.
There's nobody.
I'm gonna be in the bushes. You can look for me in the bushes.
If you leave,
going on a date with somebody new,
die.
I'm gonna be there.
That's.
Make sure every time I'm shitting in your pool. Every pool you jump in, I'm shitting in.
Every pool you in, I'm shitting in. Your damn pool gonna be all fucked up.
If it smell funny, I've been there.
Yep. And I'm in my 60s too. I'm crazy. I lost my mind.
Yep. Oh my god, that is funny.
Yep. You be like that guy on that letter from last week, trying to go back to that high school sweetheart.
Hey, I thought about that when we was talking. Yeah. Oh my goodness. See.
Yeah, I was hard on him, and I'm still hard on him. He wasn't married to her.
he don't need it. Yeah, if he got that kind of
Nah, you leave me when I'm in my 60s, man. Especially if you marry somebody that's much younger than you too. So if I'm in my 60s, Preston will still be in his 50s, still young. Like, look, I'm still young. I got time. I need to shake you off of me.
I'm like, even in my 50s, I'm like, too late for me.
Thank you so much for listening to the Brothers and Friends podcast. Do you want to chime in on this week's topic? Well, leave us a comment for us to discuss on a future episode. But in the meantime, please follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Peace.